Yeah, so this is what we see today. You know what I'm saying? Now, Mr. O'Leary here, he's saying in recent interviews, sort of business, the enterprise and television personally was asked if the small, mid-sized business he works, what I'm saying, with are becoming more optimistic about the economy, the economic, about the economics or economy, we should say. No, that's not what I hear from what he's saying. He's saying this is not what he hears, you know. But in more ways than one, when we look at it, you know, this is not what he hears. And I live in the real world, he said. Dismiss. When we look at it, a rich American are lost to the confidence in the stock market. Yeah, and how many people have money in the stock market? Nobody give a flying fuck. Because when you all fuck around with the stock market and these different bullshitical games that you play in more ways than one, it leads to the people who don't even have money in the stock market, don't have money. You're talking about the bank's too big to fail. They're lucky they have money in the bank. You know what I'm saying? And yet still they feel the pinch because when these things are played, who feels the pinch is the poor people. You know what I'm saying? It's the poor people. Somehow, some way it swings back to them, in other words. You know what I'm saying? Suffolk County seeks assistance in identifying the assailant in East Farmerville South. People still doing a whole bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? In that matter, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's out there doing a bunch of shit. Now we see here where, in this case, we see another one coming in that looks kind of suspicious. And guess who's at the top of the ladder? It looks like none other than our great Jen Psaki. You know what I'm saying? But we see ex-top Biden official Jen Psaki, he's top official, yeah, she the top alright, alarmed by polls on nations falling. She is by the polls on nation falling. I don't know what the hell she's talking about. You know what I'm saying? Y'all should have been falling a long time ago. But this is coming in by Johnny Goldberry, social media producer, August 13, 2023, 9:17 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know what I'm saying? You can also catch it on Twitter, in Facebook, and other media sites. You know what I'm saying? What we see here, and I'm sure people probably have, we see where NSNBC anchored who did you know she would have gone with the NSNBC, her crooked ass. You know what I'm saying? Jen Psaki admits she was alarmed. Alarmed about what? You know what I'm saying? The only alarming thing that Jen Psaki should be really worrying about, if you ask me, is the crookedness that she helped facilitated in this pandemic and the bullshit that went on with the American people. You know what I'm saying? In all ways and one. That's what we see. You know what I'm saying? That's what we see while she's sitting up there talking all that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And nobody wants to hear anything really that she has to say, but let's examine what she's talking about. Now, she's saying, you know, she admits, you know what I'm saying, she was alarmed to see results of the polls that capture the pulse of patriotism in the nation. You know what I mean? The former White House press secretary under creepy ass Joe Biden discussed in New York Times Siren College, you know what I'm saying, or Cynic or whatever, Siren College poll during her show, you know what I'm saying, inside Jen Psaki Nutki's brain on Sunday, which found that 65% registered voters, thought the country was moving moving in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? Uh-huh. Uh, I don't think so. And I don't agree with that in no shape or form. You know what I'm saying? Out of those who answered that way, you know what I'm saying, 34% said they believe our problems are so bad that America is in danger of failing as a nation. You know what I'm saying? As a nation, when we look at it, but we see the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is under under an avalanche of legal troubles. Remember, those cases are not just about the criminal conduct of one man, they are about the future of democracy. Here we go with that DEMOCRACY. Why? We know if you do the etymology on that, what comes up. So we don't have to, you should understand it. But why she would especially use that trickery word in our democracy, in our very way of life. What very way of life? The demon Democrats have destroyed our way of life a long fucking time ago. Sending all the businesses overseas, letting foreign people come in our country and dictate our economy, dictate on Americans. You know what I'm saying? Working hard, trying to survive. Y'all running scheme, games, deals, all that. This goes back to Reagan, Bush, Nixon, all the way back to all of them presidents that were demon Democrats in our government. And she has the nerve to sit here and talk about a way of life that they fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the stakes for the country could not be higher. Yeah, the stakes for the country as dictatorship and leader and fucking, you know what I'm saying, a Luciferian entity is, yeah, definitely high when it comes to her red head wearing looking dumb ass. You know what I'm saying? But today we're going to change things up a little bit, as Saki said at the start of the show, in part because I was pretty alarmed when I saw the recent polls of 37% of the voters think the nation is failing, and they are 100% right. So she's going to try to argue that point in all ways. What she needs to do is get the hell out of government, off the television, and get her brains together in all ways, because she ain't no more than a con artist piece of junk. You know what I'm saying? Her loud mouth talking. So, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? We heard four divers were rescued. We see Trump takes legal risks by sharing uh Tayana, who? Chakan claim. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't really, want to get into the call of things, but when we look at the situation, you know what I'm saying, it looks like Chakan claim, you know what I'm saying, but Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying, could face legal consequences after sharing a post on social media attacking the judge over his January 6th trial. Experts have warned. On Sunday, Trump shared a post on true social media for the right wing activist and lawyer Mike Davis, which falsely accused the U.S. District Judge uh, Tiana, what? I don't know, Tanya, I think it's Tanya, you know what I'm saying, Chakan or whatever, you know what I'm saying, Tukan or whatever, of having admitted she was engaging in election interference against the front runner for the 2024 GOP presidential nominee while overseeing the federal proceedings. You know what I'm saying? But Trump also shared a quote that Chukan, sorry if I messed up your name, earlier, you know what I'm saying, on Monday, which gave in October 2022 while sentencing a woman, Christine uh, look like Prayala or whatever, in connections with the Capitol riots when the judge suggested her her offending offer her offending what offend offering her offending was the result of blind loyalty to one person who, by the way, remains free to do this today. She obviously wanted me behind bars. Very, very, uh, very biased and unfair, Trump added in the following post. You know what I'm saying? From what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? But the accusation going back and forth is must be proven. If Donald Trump makes the statement and it's not true, then it must be put forward and challenged. You know what I'm saying? But this is Chris Christie coming in on. He wants to be president, so he gonna challenge Trump on that. We're going to talk about defend his record and all that. He's a Republican, so he's going in there to snitch. Let's see what he's saying. Hold on a second, people. Let me see what Chris Christie be running his mouth and make it, and he no more than a demon Democrat, if you ask me, in more ways than one. It seems to be twisted in his campaign against Trump, and then he wants to bring up this shit right here. Come on, Donald. Listen. Get on the stage and defend your record. Listen. If you get on the stage and defend your record, if you want to be the nominee, you need to defend your record. And he has a record 4 years as president where he didn't deliver on a lot of issues that Republicans care deeply about. He didn't repeal and replace Obamacare like he said he would, even though he had a Republican Congress. He said he was going to balance the budget. He added $6 trillion to the national debt. I said he was going to build the wall in Mexico. He built 47 miles of new wall. George, at that pace in 4 years, he'd need 110 years as president to be able to finish the wall. Come on, Donald. Get on the stage and defend your record. You know what I'm saying? From what he's saying. That's a little clip of Chris Christie and his bullshit in more ways than one. He's saying he built a certain amount of walls, but yeah, he probably got caught up and distracted on other things. Now, who was supposed to finish the wall? You know what I'm saying? And if the funding stopped right there, then what happened? Maybe something changed. Chris Christie shouldn't use that as no slogan talking about defend your record when he ain't talking about nothing that made no fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one, talking about repeal Obamacare. How was he going to repeal Obamacare just as it's been put into place? A lot of things Chris Christie is saying, he's just, trying to jump himself into a little pilot seat. You know what I mean? But to me, I don't trust Mr. Chris Christie in no shape or form, especially when you are under the Republican banner and ticket. You know what I'm saying? I would not put no trust in him either. Him nor Michael Pence. You know what I'm saying? But you can make your own choices as we go. But we see ex-prosecutors spot a major problem for Donald J. Trump to be baby that people are missing. This is coming in by Lee Morin 12 hours ago of the HuffPost, 12 hours ago, Eastern Standard Time. You know what I'm saying? But we see here where the former federal prosecutor, Renato Moratti or whatever his name is, summed up, one of the biggest challenge for Donald J. Trump be Bear Baby defense team as the president of the United States face the possible yet another indictment. You know what I'm saying? This time in Georgia, prosecutor Fannie Wills. Oh yeah, they're gonna come from all directions. Fannie Wills, Fannie Mae, Chicken George, all of them come at Trump right about now. But why don't you show what Trump be saying on his campaign speeches? It seemed like you seem to try to silence anything that he would even say on a campaign speech or out to the public as a whole, because you busy using these tactics in order to even try to tell him to be silent. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a kid. You know what I'm saying? Fannie Wills' investigation into his attempt to overturn. He didn't attempt to overturn a damn thing. That was Antifa, the FBI, and probably and other agencies, all involved in the correspondency. Because why wouldn't the military respond? Is the question that we have to ask. You know what I'm saying? Why did the capitals was being attacked? So where was the military? You know what I'm saying? The military refused to come. And second of all, Nancy Pelosi then wait 5, 6 hours to call. Yeah, because they knew who was out there doing this bullshit to begin with in the schematical game of the catastrophe that they will do to our country in all ways. But when we look at Mariotti appeared on CNN News, point out how hard it is to defend a multi-front war in criminal defense. It's the one thing, oh yeah, oh yeah, you got that right. That's why they put this all on Trump. This is why they trumped up every single thing that they have ever done themselves in the corrupt garbage that they do, and trying to put it all and say that Trump did it. You know what I'm saying? But everything to me has not yet been proven, nor will it probably ever be. You know what I'm saying? But it's it's the one thing that people really don't understand from what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? I have done it myself personally, said Mr. Moriarty or whatever his name is. It is very, very challenging to represent a client that is facing criminal indictment on multiple fronts. Why? Why? Wills and her team can focus, can focus like a laser on what they need to do to get, a conviction explained already. But Trump team has to balance a bunch of defense, competing concerns. Decisions made in a case may impact the slew of other cases involving Trump, he said. Yeah, because that's the way y'all play, the blackballing game. You know what I'm saying? So it really don't mean much to me. And if they're really about saving their country, then them same people you say is supposed to be his team need to get their ass online. Anytime we have people coming from China and under the ground, hybridizing, doing chemical shit in virology labs and all kind of crooked shit going on there. So, we is in a lot of deep trouble anyway. So I don't see, who let the Chinese in? Is a question we need to ask, and who let any of them in? Because and then you have them coming over the border as well. So while Chris Christie was talking about, Trump and the border and a lot of policies that you cared about, you didn't care about it hard enough to where you did not put forth an effort to make sure that these things were done. Like I said, Trump had a lot on his plate, especially with your crooked asses to begin with. So, you seem like a sabotager from within, saying when you saying the type of stuff you saying as a Republican. Don't make much sense to me. You know what I mean? But here's another one that seems very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Is Georgia election officials say Trump indictments indictments, I guess he's saying, is making him a martyr. I said that before. You already did that already. You know what I'm saying? So for him to come up and say it now makes a lot of sense. At least he's telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? But this is coming in by Miranda Nazaro one day ago, coming off the Hill News. Still don't have a lot of reporters of black names. You know what I'm saying? We need to start to look at that. You know what I'm saying? But we see here where Georgia election official Gabriel Sterling and a Sunday said, Sterling, I guess Gabriel Sterling said on Sunday that the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, is making himself a martyr and a victim as the fight against three indictments and the possible fourth expected to come in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? It is the indictment driving him ahead because he is becoming, he's becoming making himself a victim, Sterling said on ABC. You know what I'm saying? The week on Sunday, he's making himself a martyr. Yes, this man is right, even though me and him may never agree. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the American people are going behind him because they do. They they thought some of these things are a little bit of a stretch. Well, yes, because you're doing that right now in more ways than one. Ain't you doing that? Ain't your demon Democrats been doing that all across the planet? Stretching it out, slaughtering, killing, doing little Timmy. I mean, all that kind of shit. All these, women, what's wrong with these? But anyway, all these beautiful goddesses in the world, I'm saying? Some of the things you hear they do and carry on with is ridiculous. And then when somebody says something about it, oh, they get offended. Oh, yeah, I have this and I have that, and you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't say that. And, like you're supposed to bow down against something that is unnatural and made up. You're making it up. You're putting yourself in a position and saying this is something, and it's not. There's a birth defect there, or you just want that's the way you want to go because now we're kicking for you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and then all this type of stuff going on in our country. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the border crisis. Then you have the CRT. Then you have um, Trudeau up there with his crooked ass. He bring Mike's coming in through there, and all kinds of people slipping in our country, all kinds of spies and shit. You know what I'm saying? From all the borders all around the world. Now, yeah. I can't find my border, but you know what I'm saying? And all this type of stuff. And I mean, the list goes on. But then when we look at Trump's indictment, the censoring of his rallies, the censoring that you've been doing like you did in 2020, the same procedure. You're a jackass. And what this man is saying makes sense. He's making himself a martyr, and a lot of American people are going behind him because they do they thought some of these things are a little bit stretched. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest. You know what I'm saying? But the Trump is widely expected to be indicted in Georgia for efforts to overturn the 2020, you know what I'm saying, for efforts to, he efforts nothing. That's another thing he keeps saying. What effort? That's a key word. He did not put no effort in that. He just simply said a cheat, where are my votes, protest or whatever you have to do, peacefully and patriotically. That part, those things you're leaving out. You just keep on saying the effort to overturn as you present news and propaganda to the people while the Chinese is in our country controlling agriculture, all kind of geobiological shit underground, mice and rats, and all these claims are being heard on the YouTube and all this stuff. And I'm still asking the question, who let them in? You know what I'm saying? Overturn the 2020 election results in the state, you know what I'm saying? Sterling, serves as the chief of operation officers in the state office, secretary of state, the office of secretary of state. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this this has been going, say, this has been giving, I'm sorry, oxygen to his campaign. Sterling told the we, saying co-anchor Jonathan Carl, I'm saying, this is, rising, this is raising tons of money and a lot of money and a lot, I'm sorry, and a lot of that money I think was pointed out earlier. It's being used to pay for, his lawyers and not for actual campaign. Trump has been consistently leading in the national polls. You know what I'm saying? Trump has been consistently leading in the national the national polls ahead of all the GOP primary opponents. Sterling said he does not know exactly what will be included in the case in Fulton County, but said the one thing we can do is what we've been doing in our office, you know what I'm saying, and Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, you know what I'm saying, Virgo, whatever his name is, Spurger, whatever his name is. And I, and I, over 3.5 years, you know what I'm saying, you know, and for what him and that guy was doing for over 3.5 years, and since he got elected, tell the truth, do our job, follow the law, you know what I'm saying, follow the Constitution. That's all our role is in this situation. One of the things that we have learned in the public report on this is Trump. Trumpy baby, you know, request there to be two independent adults and verifications by outside groups and vote. He paid $600,000, and both of them said there was no fraud. Sterling said, "You lost the state. We've been saying this over and over again. We count the ballots 3 times." You know what I'm saying? He lost the state, and he continued to say he didn't lose. But you only going by saying you count the ballots 3 times based on whom? Because if there was supposed to be a counting of the ballots, it was not supposed, because he said right here, Trump paid both. Wait a minute. He's saying here, one of the things, you know, saying that we have learned in the public report on this is Trumpy baby requested, you know what I'm saying? He requested there be two independent adult verification by outside group and both. Number one key statement right there. As a fact, in the matter of the scientific group, it is political shit. That's the number one group. Now he's saying that he paid 600,000, and both of them said there was no fraud. Sterling said, "You lost the state." This is what Sterling said. We've been saying this over and over again for the Joe Biden administration, possibly. You know what I'm saying? We count the ballots. This is what I was trying to get to. We count the ballots. Who we that counted the ballots? Number one is the question.